I'm Mark Greubel. I'm the head coach for Waco Team USA Kickboxing, and I've trained multiple world champions.
I'm Sergio Cunha, mixed martial arts coach. I coached 14 UFC world champions and 5 UFC Hall of Famers.
Guys, welcome back. Super excited for today's episode. We are here with one of the pioneers of modern day MMA, Murilo Bustamante. He was the first UFC champion with the modified rules, wearing the gloves and the time limits and weight classes. Murilo, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you hanging out with us. What was it like going from the days of Vale Tudo into the UFC?
Thank you. A pleasure to be here. I come from the beginning of Vale Tudo in Brazil, and when I start, I didn't think about to become a professional fighter. My first fight was because of a challenge between Jiu-Jitsu and Luta Livre. It was kind of personal between two disciplines. And then later, when the business grew around the world, they create UFC, they launch Pride in Japan. Then the market was huge around the world for professional fighters. And then I received some invitations to fight in some new shows. And then 96, my first fight was 91. Then the second fight was 96. I fought twice, in Brazil once and US once. I made a big show. The name was Mars, Martial Arts Reality Super Fighting. It was eight guys tournament. I made the final with Tom Erickson. It was a huge fight for me. And then I fought 97 against the best middleweight in UFC. That was Jerry Bolander. We made a big show. We made a big show in Brazil, and I beat him. It was a tough fight. In 2000, they called me to fight UFC first time. And then at this time, after 96, 97, I tried to get in the UFC. At the time, Art Davis was the promoter, and I met him. One of the shows I went to watch Carson Students fight, Carlos Barreto, Victor Belfort. And then he told me he wanted to put me in the show against one of the big guys like Frank Shamrock or Kevin Jackson. And then I supposed to then. And then they sold the UFC for a new company. And then the deal that we was building the deal, this fell apart. And then later they called me, to fight in Japan. It was 2000 already. So, and then I fought in Japan. First time in UFC was 2000, UFC 25.
Wow, that's awesome.
Murilo, what was the difference, a specific difference, when they had the gloves, time, and weight classes? What was different from Vale Tudo days for you start to fight under those rules?
So when I started to fight, we didn't use gloves. Most of fights, people kind of settled the time. Some fight was, some rounds was, some shows, the rounds was 15 minutes. Some shows was 10 minutes, but never 5 minutes. 5 minutes. First time I fight 5 minutes round was, I think was UFC. So it was a kind of short time for me, kind of used to deal with longer rounds. Sometimes 2 rounds, 50 minutes, sometimes, 10 minutes. When I fought at my first tournament in 1996 was Mars. Didn't have time. The round was till somebody finish or till somebody tap or so.
Holy smokes. Did they have weight classes then for you? No weight classes?
Yeah, no. So it was, and I used to deal with the guys bigger than me. Was a kind of middleweight, and then when they put gloves, the difference with the gloves and no gloves, that with using gloves and protection, rand wraps, you punch, harder. You can punch stronger, and the risk to hurt your hands is really small. Then you can punch really harder, but then at the beginning, it bothers me a little bit because I'm a grappler. So for me, it kind of bother my hands. Then I don't like to use gloves. And then later, I kind of used to deal with the gloves, and then I prefer to use gloves because I could punch harder. So, and then, of course, when I'm on the ground, I need my hands go in small space, like chokies, chokers choking from behind, and gloves make a little, the hand a little bigger, so the opponent can defend better, But for the other side, it's better to hit, better to punch. So we used to do, I believe you can used to deal with different rules. People used to ask me if I prefer to fight on the cage or on the ring. So for me, it doesn't matter. I kind of, I'm able to adapt myself to the different rules that I met. So, and when I start, could use the headbutts as well, So then I had to, on the ground was one more thing to care, because I have to deal with the arms, elbows, and punches, and then I have to care about the headbutts. So when the headbutts wasn't allowed anymore, make it easy my job from the bottom, make it much easier. So and I could attack more, but when I started training Vale Tudo, I kind of my old coach, Master Carson, he teach me very well how to deal with the headbutt. So it was a big deal. But from the top, the opponent has more chances to, options to hit from the top.
Now, Sergio told me a little story that that when you first maybe met Sergio, you guys weren't necessarily the best of friends at the time. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Shoot box team. At the time was a big rivalry between teams, in Japan. So Sergio was a kind of the biggest opponent team from Brazilian top team. So, and I met him a couple of times in Japan, but I never met him in person. Like I saw him from.
We just saw each other, right? A few times.
Yeah, but we didn't met, in person. But I have a good relationship with everybody from Chute Box at the time. First time I met the guys from Chute Box was when I fought UFC 25th. And I was in the same locker room with Vanderlei Silva, Rafael Cordeiro, and Rudimar. And I kind of warm up with Vanderlei, we warm up together. So I met the guys much before Pride. And then we finish everybody fighting Pride. And then I had a good relationship with them, never have a bad, bad time with them. So that's a rivalry between teams. But in the end, the rivalry starts from the kind of, small thing, like misunderstand. But in the end, it was good for everybody because Pride capitalized the rivalry, putting the guys to fight, bring more audience for the shows.
Yeah.
And we have more fighters from Brazilian top team, from Chute Boxing, fighting in Pride. So every show, there was somebody from, some guys from the both teams. And when they fight each other, was a big audience. Everybody wanted to see the fight between Brazilian top team and shoot box. So in the end, it was good because give us more opportunity to fight.
It's funny how things work out in the end.
Yeah, and I end up coaching his academy, coaching him, working together and becoming good friends, right? So lucky, right?
That's awesome.
And I but I personally I never had a problem with anybody from shoot box. I always had I respect them. I have a good relationship. And later, I met Cunha better. We made a kind of good relationship, and I invited him to come to Rio to work with me and with my team. And then he stayed for a couple of years. He trained me. He tried to teach me Muay Thai, but wasn't that good, But
You did good. You did good. I remember we got a knockout of the night in Japan.
Oh yeah, I guess too.
Who was the guy? Who was the Japanese guy? Wasn't Kikuta the guy you knocked it out?
no, Sakurai.
No, Sakura, another guy. Because this one I talk about wasn't deep, wasn't in Pride. Remember?
Yeah, was my last fighting contract with Pride, but Pride made a last show. Pride was about to finish to this sold to UFC,
Right.
and then I had a one fight missing, and they put him to fighting in I think it was Deep, right?
Deep. I think he had a show called Deep. I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. And then I finished my contract before the Pride was sold, so it was good for me. They pay me the same, the contract, they accomplished the contract. Uh, and then I fought in Pride, and Sergio was with me at this time.
Nice.
That was a beautiful knockout. Was it left hook, Murilo? Left hook or right hook? Left hook, knocked the. And Japanese guy was big,
Yeah.
strong. Such a good fight. Such a
Nice.
good fight.
That's a lot of history there, man.
Yeah, I don't remember too. Yeah. Murilo fought everybody, He fought everybody.
Yeah, with the hands I could work better. Kicks was a problem. So Cunha did his best to teach me, but
You know, the thing is that Murilo is a good athlete.
Yeah.
So if we come back in the back of the days, when Brazilian guys, when everything start for Vale Tudo,
Yeah.
like Jiu-Jitsu guys just was allowed to do Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai guys, just Muay Thai guys. Was hard. If you defend one flag, you could go somewhere else. Murilo was a guy he always did Jiu-Jitsu, but he boxes too.
Yeah.
He have his coach, Professor Claudio Coelho, always work your hands, right, Murilo? So like when everybody doing just one sport, he was doing two or more,
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu was amazing too.
boxing for a long time, so I could boxing better than the Muay Thai. So boxing was better for me because I was a grappler, and I had to approach my opponent, kind of go in and out, like moving footwork. So I had a very good footwork, so I moving pretty fast on the ring.
Nice. Do you miss
But
it?
I
Miss
did,
fighting?
yeah, but I didn't use to kick, so I just kind of block, right? Check when people
Do you
kick.
miss competition and fighting in the ring?
Yes, I miss, but I think I did everything I could. I wanted to do, So people ask me if I want to fight again. So I kind of a different level of life now.
Yeah.
So I compete my whole life since I was a teenager. So my last fight was I was 45 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
That's crazy, man.
and I trained hard my whole life. I never used kind of steroids. I never, so my body's natural. So I was a double work, because when you're natural, you have to work more. Guys that use steroids, they work out a little bit, they got strong, and so, but I had to work more.
Mm.
and I kind of give up of a lot of stuff in my life to dedicate myself to jiu-jitsu and MMA. So and then I kind of I miss my it was the best time of my life competing, traveling, with my friends, and my coaches. I have a great time, but I don't feel myself competing anymore. I think I have different goals in my life now, like
Right.
take care of my business and teaching around. So it was a good life. I miss the life. It was super fun.
And I believe, Murilo, I believe I retired too early, because I had such bad knees injuries. But I believe we found, I don't know if you feel this way, Mark, like, when we are coaches, all of us,
Mm-hmm.
we coach and we prepare our kids or fighters. We feel pleasure when they are competing.
Oh yeah, for
Almost like
sure.
same pleasure when we was competing, right? Do you feel like this way too? When your students are competing?
Yeah, actually, when my fighters are on the cage, or I got more nervous. I used to be more nervous than when I was, when my friends was fighting. I got more nervous than when I was fighting, more anxious. Because when you're fighting, you kind of make things happen.
Yeah.
So you kind of, don't have time to get nervous. You just have to fight. You just have to be smart. You're doing things on the ring. So then outside the ring is the worst feeling. Of course, before the fight, you got anxious and you have to deal with your feelings. But during the fight, I always was very calm and very okay. So my mind was clean. No feelings. But
Nice.
outside, so then when finished and there was a good result, the feeling to coach and to help your student to win the fights or become a champ or whatever is very good. Always very good. So it's
Nice.
the closest feeling to comparing is the closest feeling when you win yourself by yourself.
Are you doing a lot of coaching and traveling right now, or are you more into the business aspect of taking care of the Brazilian top team? What's going on in your life? What's consuming you right now?
No, I'm not coaching anymore. I kind of, yeah, I coach a little bit my students, but I have a head coach in my one of my students. I put him to be a head coach, and I kind of help him. But
Okay.
he's doing very good. Sergio know him, Vitor Pimenta. He's taking care of the team now, doing a great job. And I kind of help him a little bit, give him directions. But he had been training with me for a long time, and he knows what to do. So I'm kind of help help him when they need, try to give directions. Go sometimes train with the kids, but I it's not my main concern anymore. I kind of teaching kids jiu-jitsu classes for kids, private classes, manage my business, manage my association, Brazilian Top Team Association.
Right.
So but I have different goals in my life, not only care about the professional and competitors anymore. So I have been doing this for a long time in my life.
Right.
Now I kind of have different goals.
I see. So, how big has the organization grown in Brazil now? How many schools are involved?
So I have schools in Brazil. I have some schools in Brazil. I have around 50 schools around the world. So I
Wow.
have schools in Brazil, U.S., Canada, Europe, England. Uh, what else? England, Austria, Estonia, some other countries, and Australia. So I have, we're growing every year. We're growing a little bit. But my goal is kind of help my team to grow better, grow faster, grow more solid. Kind of improve my association. That's my main goal right now.
Did you guys ever see this when you were kids? Like this type of explosion and the dominance in the martial arts world?
I don't know. For me, no. Definitely for me, not.
Yeah.
But guys, probably guys like Murilo with more a better vision. These guys who fight worldwide. Murilo fought in Japan for, I believe, was 98,000 people watching live
Wow.
in Saitama Super Arena. I don't know how many thousand people watching in US.
Yeah.
And all this experience traveling around the world for competition, for seminars, what he does, all the time. Guys like him, they knew that. I believe they knew the martial arts would, have a special place in the world. But anyways, this is what make we keep going, how he said, this is beautiful words, taking care of his association, teaching jiu-jitsu teaching for kids, spreading the martial arts spirit, and the martial arts lifestyle. This is like not just a goal, but I believe it's a nice way for we give back to, for the whole entire community what we got from martial arts, I think we are almost in a good spot, and especially with those hard days, sports itself become a good tool,
Yeah.
for people come back to for normal life. If you think about this lockdown now, martial arts can take away a lot of the stress,
Yeah.
So I believe martial arts is an important tool for humanity, right?
I tell you what, I can't wait to start training again. I have this whole virus crap is just killing me. I can't stand being cooped up.
Yeah.
You
What do you
know.
think, Murilo?
Uh, I kind of training home. So martial arts is a medicine for everything, for your mind, for your body, 100%. It's the best therapy for your mind, make you stronger.
Right.
And, for, philosophy of martial arts helps your life. And helps myself at this time that I'm inside home, the quarantine. I have to be home. My academy is closing. All academies from my association is closed around the world. So, and the martial arts helps me to have not for only myself, but everybody that trains martial arts and jiu-jitsu, they have a lot of faith. So I have faith that everything's gonna be good in the end.
Right.
So and I still training home, kind of doing workouts and boxing sometimes, teaching kids. So what I'm doing to react to this lockdown is my academy is teaching a lot of classes online. So teaching boxing classes, Muay Thai classes, functional training, and now training, teaching kids classes of Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. Everybody working to make more comfortable for the students that are in home. They're
Right.
at home, but I had to do something, uh, and, and then it's the best to do. We can't stay still at home because it got crazy.
Right.
What would you be doing if you weren't doing martial arts?
Striptease?
What about you, Murilo? What would you be doing if you were not doing martial arts?
Oh man, I'll be a surfer, and probably I'm a graduate in economy, and I start to teach jiu-jitsu to pay my university of economy,
Uh-huh.
and then I couldn't quit jiu-jitsu, and it was my life. Didn't have any money involved, I kind of just pay my bills, and then the market grew around the world, and I was in the right time, the right place, and then I could capitalize, this opportunity that martial arts gave me, the jiu-jitsu gave me. So, but probably as a sport, I'll be a surfer because I started surfing before I trained jiu-jitsu, a little bit earlier. So probably I'll be economist and a surfer.
And you?
Me? Drummer, man. I wanted to play
he
drums.
had a band. He had a rock band, a heavy metal band.
That's right.
I would be, I don't know. My life always was a sports too.
Yeah.
I would be, maybe I would be some type of teacher,
Uh-huh.
Teaching, something because I like to teach. Probably would be
Striptease.
teaching something, right? Teaching something.
All right. Well, that's all of our time for today. I'd like to thank Murilo Bustamante for spending the afternoon with us. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your time. I hope you had fun.
Thank you. Always a pleasure talk to you guys. Special Sergio Cunha-san. I used to call him Cunha-san.
And I call him my captain.
There's another one in the books, guys. Double
Thanks,
Jab
Murilo.
Podcast.
See you guys.
See ya.